Welcome to this GSC Diginet post-game update here at the beautiful Brawley Municipal Stadium. I'm your host, Jim Cavall, and here with the two play-by-play and color commentators for our first of many GSC-TV live games this fall. And first off, Don Russell, first of many, but for you, this is year number 6, and it's really been a wild ride with GSC-TV Live, and tonight was no different than before.
No, and every time we come here to Florence, remember the game last year? We had a nothing game, ends up 2-0, and then 5-0. Anything can happen, but I think a guy emerged tonight for UNA, and they have talent. Antoine Ivy. I think by the end of the season, he may be the big play guy because they got Holland and Coffey, but this guy can really make things happen, I think.
Coach Rhodes, you've seen so many different defensive looks in your years as a coach, but tonight UNA not only saw a pretty different defensive look with the 8 drop-back set for Central Oklahoma, but also running a new offense with that look really seemed like they were out of sync in the first quarter, but then after that they really fell in sync.
Well, they played much better from about the middle of the first quarter through the entire first half. Struggled a little bit in the second half, but kind of regained it towards the end. But I think that's to be expected when you're putting in a new offense. You're going to have peaks and valleys and things of that nature. And of course, the Central Oklahoma defense was advertised as a 4-man front. They played very little 4-man front. I'm sure there was something that UNA had to adjust to on the run, and so I think it was a little bit of a spotty performance. But the good thing about it is you saw, wow, there are some playmakers on this football team. We mentioned Ivy and Mo Millum, the little inside receiver, is certainly a guy that can go get him. Chappell made some really fine throws at times. They have a big, strong offensive line. I mean, I think as I said during the game, I think the key is to be patient. Just keep working with his offense. All the weapons are there. They just got to have time to get comfortable with it, and when they do, they're gonna explode.
You've coached a lot of gunslinger quarterbacks. Lee Chappell's a lot like the ones you've coached in the past. 3 interceptions in the first half. What do you tell him at halftime?
Well, I think they told him something, really before that, because he really got into sync about towards the end of the first quarter and all the second quarter. I thought he played very well, and I thought last year he was a very good quarterback. At times tended to press a little bit, and I think he pressed a little bit towards the beginning of the game. Tried to wind up on some throws and overthrow them instead of just throwing naturally, and it was much better in the second quarter and played well really the rest of the game except for really a couple of throws. So. I mean, he's really a proven veteran. He was a starter at Georgia Southern before he came to UNA. Played well last year, and I think they've got a guy that can really take them a long way. He's just got to get comfortable in this offense again and know where people are going to be. And again, this is all new now. This is they've played one game in this offense, and I think that overall the results here are very encouraging.
Well, guys, GSC, we used to say the big 3, Valdosta, Delta State, North Alabama. There's only 5 teams playing football this year, and we're going to see one of those teams next week, Valdosta State, another top-ranked team, another team that's won a couple national titles from the Gulf South Conference. Don, how excited are you to go down there next week and check out the Blazers?
I tell you, I always like to see VSU play because, again, I hate to keep going back to the low-scoring game there, but they didn't have their starting quarterback, and they survived. They had big wins. And I think anytime you go to VSU, it's always tough to win there if you're the opponent. But they were right in the hunt. To remember the last game, West Alabama pulls the upset, and then that kind of changed the whole scheme of things. But in this league, man, you better have it strapped up every week. You won't be in trouble.
West Alabama was in action tonight. They ended up falling to South Alabama. That may be a new rivalry here in the state of Alabama in years to come. For more scores and stats and standings and all the stuff going on here in the first college football weekend, first full college football weekend in the NCAA Division II arena and the Gulf South Conference, check out GSCsports.org. Check out our GSC Diginet updates throughout the year on Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, on our homepage at GSCsports.org. I'm Jim Cavall for Don Russell, Rick Rhodes. We'll see you next week in the next GSC TV Live game at Valdosta State.